Hello, everybody. Welcome to another quick video on how to save a failed 1031 exchange brought to you by Capital Gains Tax Solutions. We believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options, and not having a clear plan is the enemy. And using a deferred sales trust or a Delaware statutory trust can be an amazing way for you to defer capital gains tax and save a failing 1031 exchange. So in this video, we're going to break down actually two types of DSTs. The one that you probably maybe haven't heard of yet, unless you've been watching some of our videos here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions on our YouTube channel. So let's talk about the problem. First of all, what's going on around the marketplace. Right now, we're seeing, of course, rising interest rates. They have kind of slowed down a little bit here recently, but they've about doubled here in the past year, which is pretty remarkable. But we're seeing cap rates that are slowly kind of staying the same, maybe going a little bit higher, right? You want to be able to buy a higher cap rate, ideally, than your interest rate. But right now, interest rates are higher than cap rates. And so it's creating a situation where a lot of 1031 exchange investors who are selling real estate are feeling a bit trapped more than maybe they've ever felt before, because prices are still high. Now interest rates are high, and it's not a great situation if you're having negative leverage, right? Or negative arbitrage. Ideally, you're buying, let's say, at a 5 or a 6 cap, and you're borrowing, let's say, at a 3 or a 4. But right now, we're still seeing the inverse. Now, we have seen some cap rates go up, and we do see some softening from sellers. But again, if a seller is going to sell today, why are they going to trade their, say, 3 or 4% interest rate for a loan that's 5, 6, or 7%? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And so we're seeing a lot of people look to 1031 exchanges and are seeing, we don't want to do these anymore, or at least not right now until the deals make sense. And so how do you save a 1031 exchange? Well, you use what's called a deferred sales trust as one option. And a deferred sales trust, by the way, is an alternative to a 1031 completely. You can use a deferred sales trust at the close of escrow. You can also use it if you work with a accommodator who will actually accommodate for you on day 46 or day 181. Now, the key is having a team and having a trust in place that is able to execute on this strategy with you. The deferred sales trust is simply an installment sale that allows you to become a lender for a trust. That's a simple kind of way to understand it. Now, this is different than a 1031 exchange. A 1031 exchange, you maintain ownership and you continue to go on and defer your tax by buying more properties. In other words, trading up, what we've been taught to do. Of course, you got to do it within the 45 days to identify and 180 days to close. But what happens if you're running out of time and your exchange is failing? Well, enter the deferred sales trust. You can defease the exchange, and the funds can go into the deferred sales trust. In exchange, you get a promissory note. So let's give you an example. We actually just did a recent deal for a client out of Idaho. Now, he was selling his mobile home parks, actually multiple parks, 5 parks in particular. Now, the parks were all selling for about $10 million, and he was selling it to a single buyer. So he's in kind of multiple exchanges because some of the properties are on different parcels. And he's looking at this and going, this doesn't make a lot of sense. And all the reasons why we talked about before, higher interest rates, cap rates aren't making a lot of sense. But also he's looking to be a little bit more passive and get his cash on the sidelines. So the deferred sales trust was perfect for him, because not only did it save his 1031 exchange, but it gave him that freedom and flexibility to go find a deal when it makes sense for him, essentially when the seller's expectations start to drop. And that's the perfect time to pounce, all tax deferred, using the deferred sales trust. So you form a deferred sales trust, you work with an accommodator, you can work with our company as well to help you with all of this, so that you're all lined up and everything is dialed in case your 45 days runs out. And in case you're up against that 180 days, it's kind of the short answer. The funds can go into the trust and you maintain what's called a deferral state, because you're in an installment sale agreement with the trust. You haven't received the funds. Therefore, they're in a tax deferred state. So that is our primary way that we help people save 1031 exchanges. But sometimes as well, we also work using what's called the Delaware Statutory Trust, also known as a DST. Another way to think of it is, think about Delaware 1031. It's in the 1031 family, where you can trade your interest, your ownership, into an interest of a larger portfolio, maybe 2 or 3 properties, sometimes just 1 property. And these Delaware statutory trusts or Delaware 1031 exchanges allows you to keep that ownership. Now, one of the main benefits of that is it maintains what's called the stepped up basis opportunity, but your old depreciation schedule travels. You also give up all the control, and you give up all of the liquidity. And by the way, I have a full video on this that you can look at. If you go to Capital Gains Tax Solutions YouTube channel, you can search the DSTs or Battle of the DSTs or Delaware Statutory Trust versus the Deferred Sales Trust, and it breaks that down. But back to Gary Lester's deal. Gary is selling these mobile home parks in Idaho, and he actually ended up using both DSTs. Partially because he had what's called a debt over basis. Now, one of the Delaware Statutory Trusts, one of the best reasons to use that is to solve debt over basis. Because guess what? The 1031 exchange, if you have debt over your adjusted basis, you're going to have to replace that debt. The Deferred Sales Trust cannot help you with that, but the Delaware Statutory Trust can. And so this is the coolest thing, right? At first, Gary moved all of his funds to a qualified intermediary. He worked with our team to execute the Delaware Statutory Trust and with his financial advisor. And then number two, he used the Deferred Sales Trust for the rest of the funds to go into to maintain a tax deferral state. So the key is unlocking the power of both DSTs to save his failing 1031 exchange. Now, you can do this too. You just need a team to help you, and that's what we're here for. We would love the opportunity to help you execute. If you have an exchange coming up before you're selling, you want to make sure that the accommodator has the language of the Deferred Sales Trust and actually knows how to execute with a Deferred Sales Trust trustee, such as our company. And then number two, you want to really have a clear plan on what you're trying to accomplish, because not every tool is going to help you accomplish what you really want to do. And a lot of times people find us and they think that the 1031 was the way to accomplish their goals. And then they find actually it's not, it's the Deferred Sales Trust. So have those two things in mind, and you can start right now by going to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, where we have a masterclass every single Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, where you can learn about deal stories with the Deferred Sales Trust, deal stories with 1031 exchanges, Delaware Statutory Trust, really just capital gains tax exit planning in general. Compare and contrast, hear from live clients, hear from people that are considering it, hear from myself and my team and strategic alliances, talk about how to build an exit plan that helps you to defer capital gains tax. Again, that's every single Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com right now. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Please rate, review, subscribe to our YouTube channel for future videos just like this. As well, could you share this with someone that can inspire today or really help them? By the way, the Deferred Sales Trust also works for business exits. It works for primary homes. It works for cryptocurrency. It works for stock. The 1031 or the Delaware Statutory Trust only works for investment real estate. So if you're selling other assets, now you do have to have a minimum requirement of 1 million net proceeds, $1 million gain. You can apply for a free consultation by going to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We would love the opportunity to see if the Deferred Sales Trust or the Delaware Statutory Trust could be a great fit for you. Just go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Thanks for watching the video.